How would you start it and leave? That makes absolutely no sense.
I'm not sure what's more confusing: the decision, the green pants.
It matches the hat.
Yeah, this is true.
I needed everybody to see that I was color coordinated.
Oh, you coordinated? What are your shoes at? What's the shoes looking like though? Oh, damn, that's it. Oh, okay.
He just tore his groin doing that. But
what the socks looking like? Back to work. That's where it ends. That's what.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to know nothing else. All right, we good.
I was expecting just some plain 12-pack socks.
Yeah, all I buy is black socks.
No. Are you wearing Mexican colors for Canelo, Sean? Is that how impressed you were last night?
Actually, no.
Not that you weren't that impressed, or that you weren't color coordinating. You're impressed, being impressed. I'm
impressed that I'm color coordinating for Mexico.
Okay.
So, I mean, I was impressed.
How could you not be?
Yeah, how could you not be impressed?
Unless you're Chris Mannix or one of the guys that had the crazy scorecards.
Shall we start there?
Yeah, the undercard, I would like to state, did not exceed my expectations of abysmal. It was as expected, which was.
My man Lawson was like.
Yeah, we can talk.
Hey, my man lost.
That stoppage was very strange.
Yeah. He was getting beat.
But he was getting beat. Like, I could see if you stopped it early because he was really wearing some big shots early, but like. He was fighting back, and I could be wrong, but that wasn't like a sequence where he got hit by like some big shots and didn't throw back. Like,
right.
It seemed like the ref just decided, you know what, let's just stop it. We might as well. Like, it seemed like an odd time. Momentum was kind of in his favor. It was weird.
Nah, he was blocking punches with his head.
Yeah, that's never a good thing. That's what you don't want to block punches with.
Hey, I love the energy after the fight.
Oh, for sure.
What is that? I've never seen that before in my life. I loved it.
Yeah, he said, I still got something in the tank. But yeah, the timing was just very odd. We thought the Cota stoppage the week before was weird timing. And that timing of that one was like 50,000 times stranger.
Hey, Carson, so he does all this? Yeah. Sean, you want to tell him what you said? All right, we're good.
Because it's my,
Yeah, we good.
I get it. You know what I mean? And I've said this before. It's like when a fight gets stopped and it's not in your favor, it's like all of a sudden it's like this energy kind of like just kind of comes over you or whatever. And so I get what he was trying to do. It was almost like when I slipped in my fight against Ugas and I got up and I jumped up in the air.
Right.
Show everybody like that was a slip. I'm good. Let's go. I heard Keith Thurman on the telecast. He said, "Oh, he's just trying to get his legs back." I'm like, who the hell would jump that high in the air if they don't have legs?
Not knowing you're landing securely. That's a dangerous move.
So, hey, Sean, what if you would have jumped up and
slipped again?
And
that would have been all bad.
So that would have been, oh man.
Like at that point, you just walk out of the ring. Like if you jump up and slip, you'd have been like, take it easy.
That would have capitalized the ooh yeah that I hit coming back into the room.
Very true.
Way in.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
So when a guy comes out, and he's throwing he's shadowboxing and stuff. I was sitting there. I was just like, I looked at Ann. I said, I get it, but you weren't doing any of that during before you guys stopped. Like none of those punches were coming, So, but dude was fighting back, and I kind of feel like I knew where the ref was in the sense that he did see dude take a lot of punches clean, but the guy was fighting back, and it's like when you are at that age and at that point in your career, it's like you shouldn't. So that's kind of like the proof that people cannot avoid turning off, like being a human. And what I mean by that is, I've said this to you guys before, that when someone is selected to judge a fight, that guy should not look on social media. That guy should not be watching YouTube on the fighters, get no type of preconceived thoughts of how a fight should go or anything like that at all. And the same thing for the referee. I kind of feel like in the moment that referee got caught up with he's not going to win and he's X amount of age and he's done this and that, and I need to save him. You really didn't need to save dude, but we see right there, I think that's prime example right there that he was kind of caught up with knowing the fighter a little too much, and I think that's what happens more times than not in these fights.
And Zittel, you were down there. What was the crowd reaction to that?
Shout out to Katsunori Takayama. He showed as much desire as anybody.
Never go after it, man. I got so much love and respect for you, man. Admiration. I got the Olympic Games coming up. I don't even want to. Yeah, that's the only. I don't want to do the Olympic Games because I'm gonna have to pronounce these names. So you giving me courage, man. You giving me courage. Keep going.
Katsunori Takayama. But he was, I was with some Japanese reporters who really respected this guy, and they really let me know. And you could box record. He was multiple time champion in the lower weights, and at 37 years old is like 57 in those really low weights. So I'm thinking, because the crowd loved it. The crowd was giving this man his props for even though he was losing almost every round, the desire was apparent that he was giving you everything he got. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, how cool would this be for Takayama to retire? Like, these are little dudes who never get world recognition. They never going to fight on a stage like Cowboy Stadium. Mm-hmm. And here he is, the co-main event to Canelo. And I don't know, I thought that was really cool. Him shadow boxing afterwards to tell everybody I can fight all night. So shout outs to Katsunori Takayama, man. Retire, man. You don't want to retire after a KO. That was a good little story. This little Japanese fighter who used to be champ, co-main event, Cowboy Stadium, gets lumped up, but he showed, I enjoyed his performance. You knew he was going to come hard when he came out to Rocky.
It's almost like a big dunk after there's a foul. Like if a player gets fouled at the 3-point line, but they're going towards the hoop and they just play's already over and they throw down like a windmill. That's what that after punching felt like. Like he didn't do that like during the actual play, but do it afterwards. Other than that, undercard was not really noteworthy for any particular reason. Sanchez fight was a circus at the end.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that.
What was it?
The punch behind the head, Sean.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, that's Carson all day and all night.
Oh, well, 100%.
My dude got up and then fell back down.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I don't know about you guys, but my natural instinct is to think, okay, maybe he got hit harder than I thought live. So then they show the replay, and I'm like, man, it really didn't look like he got him. And they show the replay from another angle. I was like, no, he really didn't get him. Like,
hey, Carson, Sean was looking, and the dude was falling to the rope. So Sean turned his back walking. I said, Sean, turn around. He was on the ground.
Yeah, that was crazy. He got out of there. Sanchez, I think we don't need to go too deep into it, but good heavyweight fighter. I think
very solid.
Yeah, still got a ways to go, in my opinion, for you can really get up there with those guys up top or even close to the top. But yeah, good fighter.
I think he's still got some time. I think that he's a good fighter. Now, he's Cuban but lives in the Dominican Republic. Well, how's that go?
Zittel.
That he's Cuban and lives in the Dominican Republic?
I don't believe. I mean, I know he's training in California, like everyone knows what Canelo and them. But I think
I heard something about
his opponent was from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay. I overheard that. I misheard that yesterday. Then I thought he was. I said, okay, so is this dude Cuban? Because he's been Cuban to me his whole.
And he's the Cuban Flash.
Yeah. So, I'm still holding on, man. I really don't feel like Luis Ortiz is gonna pull it off for the Cuban
for a title
for a world title for Cuban heavyweight. I don't think that Luis Ortiz is gonna pull it off, and obviously we're looking at who's coming next, or at least I am, because I'm a fan of the Cuban boxers. I'm a fan of the Cuban style, and I feel like the prestige that they have as amateurs it hasn't turned over yet as professionals for. I would say like kind of as a whole. And then obviously when we look at boxing, it's like the heavyweight division's just always the most revered division in boxing. So now we're looking at Sanchez and possibly becoming the next guy. He's big. He looks very strong. And he's kind of quick, but I don't see that it yet. And, I obviously I think that we should be able to see it now. If not the very next fight, we should be able to say, okay, he's going to be a champion or not, So this one didn't do it for me, but dude didn't help. So
No, yeah,
and dude was problems along the way too. So.
For sure. Yeah, I think he's definitely got a little seasoning to go. But
I told Ant, I said, listen, when I first started fighting in Mississippi, the commission would tell everybody, he said, if you get hit low, keep fighting, let the refs handle it. If you go down, we ain't giving you your paycheck. If you get hit behind the head and you go down, we're not giving you your paycheck. You guys come down here to fight. You fight no matter what. You let the referees handle it. You let the doctors handle it. And he was very clear that if you do anything like last night, you're not getting paid. So I really didn't want dude to get paid last night.
Bottom line, that's what you.
I ain't want dude to get paid last night.
yeah, the falling twice was that's what really was the cherry on top. Like
that was when I didn't.
Like you stumble once, I'm like, okay, like you're really milking it, and then he gets up and fell again. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I would have done 100%. You're correct with that.
Yeah.
What he said is he had a dead stinger in his arm, nerve. He went on.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was like, my neck came my back. That was the whole.
I said, man, I played an entire senior year of football with a stinger running up and down my neck. It never told anybody. I said, I'm still dealing with stuff in fights and ain't told nobody.
Yeah,
I can't. Yeah, I just can't rock with that. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes these guys need that Mississippi talk that you know what you're here for. Make it a show, but not that kind of show. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make boxing look good. You obviously make yourself look very unprofessional and silly. So
yeah, and then main event, another good walkout.
Card. We had Mark Keyshawn, right, guys?
Yeah,
Mark Castro. Those were the two real prospects of the card that could be champions. Yeah.
I was back on.
Still so early for me.
Yeah.
For Keyshawn?
For both of them. Castro, like they're still super, super young in their career, but they definitely they show what they'll eventually be able to do, I'm sure. But now we had another.
Like with Castro, he let his hands go. He threw the whole kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I do think Keyshawn is he knows how to apply that intelligent pressure, but he might have to start putting his foot on the gas a little bit more. He could have got that guy out of there within the 6 rounds, but you got Castro who's throwing the whole kitchen sink. Maybe he could learn some of the intelligence Keyshawn has, and then vice versa. I just thought that was interesting watching those two kids fight back to back. But, yeah. It's so young, so it's tough to. And like you said, I think we're just kind of projecting them to be great. So we want to see them obviously take the next step. But yeah, Castro's kind of a funny looking dude. Just kind of an interesting note. He gets compared to Elon Musk out here.
That is fair. But we talked about last week having another good walkout for Canelo, and I thought this walkout was even better than the last time.
Viva Mexico! Viva Mexico!
They were rocking. It was a whole production yesterday, but.
On both sides.
Yeah, Billy Joe came out there and he had a nice little walkout as well. What was
Billy Joe was clowning?
Yeah, which kind of goes back to
Billy Joe. Yeah, that I told Sean I'm not a boxer, but you got it. My man, you're going into a war right now. You need to lock in. But that's how some people are.
Yeah, like Prince Nassim was the same, where he did some crazy stuff going into the ring, and he was usually light. I don't know. I might have made my point clear about Billy Joe Saunders last week personally, but what did you guys all have like scorecard wise as the fight was going on? Because I thought Mannix and Coppinger was on Twitter. I thought they were way off.
I had like 6 rounds to 2 for Canelo.
I was 6-2 as well.
Yeah, I think I gave him 3.
And I couldn't be mad at 3 or 1. Like I wouldn't be mad either way.
Let me go on record for.
I really think it looked like to me those rounds were more what Canelo wasn't doing. Like
exactly,
he would take his foot off the gas, and then Billy Joe would be able to get some work in. And then when Canelo got back to putting his foot on the pedal, he was in control the whole fight. Canelo was.
Even when it seemed like he wasn't in control.
Yeah,
mind control.
It's crazy. Go ahead, Sean.
I want to go on record for saying I enjoy listening to Chris Mannix and I enjoy listening to Sergio Mora. I feel like they both do a very good job at commentating, but I felt like last night they got caught up trying to sell the fight after the fight started. I'm listening to them and I'm like, Billy Joe, I mean, he's working his jab and he's using the ring, but there's nothing that complicated coming from Billy Joe. And every time that Canelo put his foot on the gas and threw some punches, they seemed to land, or he seemed to position Billy Joe where he wanted them. I felt like the fight was not as close as they were making it to be. I felt like it was about 6-2. I felt like there were rounds where Billy Joe outworked him, but even the high work rate wasn't enough to me to overshadow the fact that Canelo was controlling the ring as well as controlling where Billy Joe moved and how much he moved and didn't move. You know, I thought that there was just a handful of rounds. I thought the very first round was close enough, and I gave it to Billy Joe because of his work rate. And then I think that there was a round in the middle where the jab landed.
The sixth was one where I was like, maybe. Like, okay, I could if I wanted to. 5 was Saunders for sure.
5 was Saunders for sure. And 6 was, I was like,
6, you were like, I could lean that way, but
look, the fight's been sold. We're here.
Yeah.
Do your job, and you don't have to sell it anymore. And that's, I feel like, it's just what you have to do with Canelo at this point is and why is the question every time Canelo's getting in the ring, what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think? Why are you asking me this? I had so many people ask me this about this fight before it happened that instead of popping off on people, I just stopped texting. Y'all know Malcolm, and he gonna watch, so it is what it is. Text me, what do you think so far? After like 2 rounds. What do you mean, what do I think? I think it's what happened, it's gonna happen. So instead of popping off, I said, just sit back and relax and watch. And just because it's really just a matter of time.
Yeah,
that's
where that in our group text.
Yeah, all you needed to say right there was, "Hey, tune into the podcast on Tuesday for my thoughts." Yeah, that's where you plug the show.
Yeah, look at Carson. Hey, to a friend, Carson.
Yeah,
Carson.
To a friend. Just copy and paste. Just what do you think about this fight? Porterway Podcast drops every Tuesday, all streaming platforms on YouTube.
Subscribe.
And everybody hates when I shoot that to them because they're like, come on, man. Tell me now. You going to make me wait till Tuesday? Yeah, I'm going to make you wait because me having this conversation with you, there's no point in having the conversation. What do you think? Who do you think's going to win? That's the question. Who do you think's going to win? When Canelo's in the ring and you're asking me who do you think's going to win, it's only a matter of time before that happened, right? So when it happened, when that punch happened, I said, it's a wrap. And I don't mean to be mean or insensitive or anything like that at all, but I saw the punch and I started wilding and Ed went right on with me.
No. So what happened, shout out to Elon Musk. I was sitting there, I was panicking because my Dogecoin dropped. So I was trying to sell $10,000 worth of Dogecoin. And then everybody said, oh, I said, what happened? Then Sean says, eyeball hanging out. It was one of them, Carson.
I'm sure you overhyped it. That actually happened to a Villanova basketball player once, not to delve into that, but he got like poked in the eye and his eyeball kind of popped out. But
but I felt like, he was hyping people up. We got a guy in the group text, Edwin. Edwin got hyped. And I think that was a little bit of the Saunders performance and the commentators. Because my man flipped. He's like, Sanders taking control. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I said, the KO is coming eventually.
Yeah.
And real boxing fans, you know that Saunders had success, but all that was leading up to that timing. He timed his ass and hit him with a big shot.
Yeah.
All that led up to that.
So go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Sean.
I love that. It was incredible to watch him do the Sugar Ray Leonard. He didn't wind up the fist, but he told the crowd and like what greatness from Canelo to know off a single shot that didn't drop a guy. To Saunders' credit, he didn't let his legs get to jello, nothing, and he's over. It's over. He's done. And then he even said after the fight, "I knew he wasn't going to come out of the corner."
That's crazy.
This guy's is something else right now. I got to give him props. And I got to give props to Eddie Reynoso. Like Sean mentioned positioning earlier. From round 1, Saunders knew he was in big trouble just from how Canelo had him lined up. And you guys are talking about the inevitability of the result. I had Saunders losing a wide decision. I did think he was going to get 3 rounds out of the fight. But as the fight drew closer and Saunders' bluff, starts to fade off because, the bluff is stronger on Tuesday and Wednesday than it is on Friday and Saturday night. And as he can, right.
That's facts.
Right. And so as he's coming to the ring and he's in the ring, he knew what was going to happen. Just like you guys are talking about. He knew it was a matter of time. And yeah, it was a great performance by Canelo. He did his thing.
Yeah, Saunders just didn't have enough. He wasn't fast enough.
Levels.
He wasn't strong enough.
Yes.
Just like I don't know, a good enough fighter, but
right.
You didn't have the guns for that. That was kind of
what's funny, guys? After the fight, and we all pretty much agreed on this last week. I said in the media room when we're waiting for Canelo, I'm like, Caleb Plant's going to do better than that. Caleb Plant's a better fighter. I'm not saying he's going to freaking win, but he's better than that. Mm-hmm. And everyone in media, I'm not going to name names, but everyone in media row started laughing at me. Damn. Literally laughing at me in the media room.
Podcast down there.
Who I am.
Better had a fight hype shirt on.
I'm representing good, Carson, because we know what's up. We know Caleb's going to do better than that, and all the big wigs are laughing. So I'm representing Porter Way and Fight Hype good. So, but I thought that was funny that everyone thinks Billy. I'm like, he can't really do that much worse. So, anyways, I think Caleb Plant will be a better fight.
We thought your Wi-Fi couldn't get any worse. This is
you turned into a ghost for a second. You're like Patrick Swayze. R.I.P.
Coming and going.
Yeah. I think it kind of goes back to what I mentioned last week. Where like not everyone can be Lara. Like you're just not everyone's that fast, that quick, that good of footwork. Caleb, I think, is between them. I think he's better than Saunders, worse than Lara footwork wise in their primes. But yeah, Saunders just like. It was what it was. What do you think? So obviously the big talking point afterwards is, did he quit?
Oh man, yeah, forgot. Yeah, let's handle that because so the punch lands, and as soon as it lands, I don't know exactly what Canelo said after the fight, but I saw the punch, and in my mind, I said it's over. But what everything that came out of my mouth was me hyping up the punch and everything like that. But in my mind, once the bell rang and he made it out of that round, I said, one or two things are going to happen. He either is not going to get off of the stool, or if he does and this round starts, it ain't going to last long. And I knew before I saw it, before they got going and then we were able to see his eye, just from seeing the way that the punch was thrown and the way when it landed, as soon as it landed, I said, that's the one.
Yeah.
And so I knew that it was going to be a wrap. So here's the thing. You got guys, we have situations in fights where our eye may go like this immediately. It may take a couple of minutes for it to really swell up and things like that. But he could not see something. If it hasn't been reported yet, something was definitely broke or shook up to the point where he knew he wouldn't be able to operate.
I believe he was actually, you said operate. I think he was getting operated on current, like today, which is
okay. Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, like, I hate to sound so serious, but I really do. Like, boxing's war. And when we are in there, our lives are on the line. If not our lives, our eyes, our nose, kidneys, you know what I mean? Like there's parts of our bodies on the line if our life isn't genuinely worth something to be concerned for, you know what I mean? And we all know what happens or could potentially happen in the end of boxing. So in saying that to say, dude basically got shot in the eye. He was down. He could not operate anymore. And when that happens, everyone, you just clap it up for Canelo and you tell the other man to heal up. You don't move forward and saying he quit. You don't move forward and saying he was scared. You don't move forward and saying, oh, he didn't want it. He didn't want it. He didn't da. It's war. At some point, we were human. At some point that kicks in and we're like, okay, I've had enough. And so I respected it. I was expecting it. And then I did expect everyone to trip on him. And I was like, now it's just not that you can't trip on a guy because his life's on the line. If and none of us have been to war, but if the bullets start shooting and we duck down and we hide behind a tree, they're taught not to do that in war. But human instincts kick in and we go into survival mode. You know what I mean? So that was him going into survival mode. If anything, you say that Canelo was a sharpshooter. It only took one shot. He found it, and that's all he wrote.
So I have two things on that. One, DAZN, you do a great job production every time. Not having the audio
on camera, I'll be tripping on.
Well, and not having the audio in the corner.
BBC.
Yeah, but not having the audio in the corner of that was bad. Like, that's when that's when you need the audio in the corner. But so that was bad. But I think the criticism, and I understand it. He was very critical of Daniel Dubois when he took a knee in his last fight when he broke his orbital bone.
Quitters and everything. He would.
I would never quit. My pulse has to stop. Like, you got to carry me out of there. I don't care if.
Yeah, he said all this.
Then he fight with two fucking sockets.
And it's kind of like what I said last week, where the fighter's always the last to know. Yeah. And so, and him seeing that and saying, "Oh, I would never do all that," and you come to the corner, you look up, and corner's like,
Yes,
you know what I mean? So, and I'm sure he probably didn't debate it. You've never felt that, you know what I mean? You've only seen it and felt like it's something that you can fight through, and you feeling it now. You in front of 70-something thousand, and you want to leave out of this ring with your life.
Yeah,
so,
I do think there's a difference between taking a knee and it ending on the stool, just based kind of on semantics. You're not literally stopping in the middle of a round and saying I'm good. Either of them can be the right decision, and I think. Even as somebody who doesn't really care for Billy Joe Saunders, I'm happy that he didn't go back out there for him personally. Because, dude, if you can't beat Canelo with two eyes, you damn sure can't beat him with one. Like, you go out there like a cyclops, and it's gonna be bad news bears for sure.
I mean, what kind of point is that? Like, you for anybody saying that he quit, you can't beat Canelo with one eye. Let's say you were somebody watching and thought the fight was close, but you thought the fight was close with two eyes. Yeah. Now this guy is busted up with one eye, and you think that magically something's gonna happen. He's gonna find a punch that he didn't find in the first 6 or 7 rounds. Not gonna happen. You know what I mean? So,
and it could have gone in fairness to. It could have gone really bad. Like Canelo has that kind of punching power, that kind of accuracy. Like that could have been a devastating knockout for him. So.
Hey, and he was standing up in the corner. I said he about to punish he's about to punish this boy.
If I was Billy Joe Saunders, even if I was on the fence about it, when I saw him standing up, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Son.
Yeah, you see?
Oh hell no!
Yeah, when he's pacing over there.
Doesn't know. You have to peek around your coach to see the other court. Nobody knows out there. Yeah, you got to peek around.
Yeah, that's not a sight you want to see when you peek around your coach and see the best pound for pound fighter pacing in his corner, like, cracking his knuckles. Like, oh yeah, you just let me back at him. But yeah, 22-foot ring didn't help him much. But shout out to him for standing his ground on that. Moral victory for the week. But
so Caleb Plant,
he's better. Let me tell you why he's better than Billy Joe Saunders.
Let's do this. Go ahead.
He's a natural 168 pounder. True. Unlike Billy Joe, he's dedicated. He got an 8-pack year round, 12 months a year. He eats right. He trains right. Takes the
Coach Wade
seriously. He got Coach Wade right. He's a better combination puncher than Billy Joe, and just straight up punch for punch. He's sharper. I think his hands are faster. I think his technique is more straight line on his straight punches, throws the hook, everything. I just think he's a sharper guy, not awkward like Billy Joe, not a southpaw, but he's bigger. His hands, I think, are faster. He's sharper, better combination puncher, keeps himself in better shape than Billy Joe. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be a more competitive fight with Canelo.
That's the only problem I got with Caleb Plant is the D-level fighters you have fought. Your best fight was the Jose guy. He hit him with something big in the 9th or 10th round, and Caleb was almost out of here.
You got Canelo fighting 3 or 4 times a year against the best of the best.
Exactly.
You got 60 fights already.
You got the activity level of Canelo, and the elite level of Canelo, you can't go from a C-level fighter and then go from the top dog and think you about to go up in there and win. I'm gonna be honest. He gonna be up in there. I just don't think he has he's gonna be in and out. To beat Canelo, you gotta go get it. You can't just tap, tap, tap. That's the man, that's the dog. You're not in control, you're not the A side. You're gonna have to get up in there and rumble with him. I don't think Caleb's gonna be able to do that.
You think so? I don't know if we've said it before. I don't think anybody can rumble with him. I don't think anybody.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't rumble with him.
But I'm saying
let his hands go.
The closest fights he's had, other than the draw with Golovkin, is Floyd and Lara, which I know seems like an eternity ago. But those guys did fight like that, where they stuck a move and got on the outside. I don't think Caleb's built to sit there and get into a firefight. But yeah, is it one of those things? And Sean, you can kind of speak to this, but it's going to just have to be instinct. Like, he hasn't been in there with the best competition. I think he would admit that.
And Sean, I would have felt Darrell, Benavidez, then Canelo. I feel like he'll be more prepared, bigger fight, ready for the moment.
Biggest problem, he hurt his hand in that fight with Caleb Truex. That's the biggest problem.
That's still a C-level fighter.
Biggest problem is he hurt his hand in that fight. So we didn't see everything we expected to see in his fight with Caleb Truex. I agree with both of y'all, with you and you, Sean Zittel, and also you, Carson. I do believe that the moment will bring you up to that A level or that or whatever level it is that you can compete with somebody. I do believe that. I feel like I've been there and done that. And I feel like there's a host of other guys out there who have been there and done that. Let me say this about Mayweather and also Lara, and the fact that he was still young, no excuses.
Yeah.
But I don't think that either of those fights, if those guys are still in their prime fighting him now, I don't think that either of those fights, Canelo in his prime at this moment, I don't think either of those fights play out the same. Lara, at the top of his game, probably, and then Mayweather too. I think they both are probably the fights that they were, but I think that Canelo finds more moments than he did in those fights when they happened. I just think that he's more.
There's a lot of frustration in those fights.
Exactly.
It was a young, immature.
He landed 5% of his jabs against Lara.
Wow. Yeah.
Killed his body though.
And that was the biggest difference that I saw yesterday. You dealing with Billy Joe Saunders, a guy who is awkward, got his hand out, a little English style, hand is jerky, and then he's got a little bit of movement here and there, and and he's tall and southpaw. I think there was more there was awkwardness coming from Billy Joe than it was, this is what I'm going to do to control this ring and this fight and win. And I just think that it took some time, but along with it taking time, we saw the patience of Canelo saying, I'll get him next round. And I kind of was looking at that like, damn, how we grow as fighters. Like, we go from being so impatient and so I got to get him. And so that round didn't go the way that I wanted it to go because I didn't hit him 30 times, to saying, I'll get him next round. Okay, next round. Okay, you landed a jab. Okay, and just saying okay and working your way to the success that you want. So when we talk about Caleb Plant, I agree with you, Sean Zittel, wholeheartedly. I think that jab, I think that length, reach, timing, height, IQ, preparation, I think is a big key for him. The fact that he kind of has that work nonstop mentality. You know, I almost called out what you do for a living. Ant can't do that, but he like the U of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't stop. We gonna get into that eventually one day. You know what I mean? So, but on the other side of it,
the young gunners.
Yeah, but then on the other side of it, you talk about his inconsistency in the ring, is his lack of high level competition in the ring. I think that those two things are very, very vital in this fight against Canelo. And there's no way he's going to be able to get in the ring before he fights Canelo. So you're saying you can take on Anthony Darrell. I would pick him to beat Ant at this point. That's my guy, but I feel like he's on a different level from Ant at this point, and I think that will show, you know, that he's been fighting, you know, C-level fighters, but here's a A- B level fighter, and he beat this guy, and then taking on Benavidez. Check it out. You're risking losing your belt. You're risking losing something in the ring. You're risking having a hard fight. You didn't even have a hard fight, but you hurt your hand. So now you're missing time from the ring because of a hand. You know what I mean? So the same thing goes with the fighting Benavidez. So the funny thing about boxing is you do one or two things. You take on another challenge and you risk losing that Canelo fight. You risk Canelo moving forward, saying, I don't need you. And once that happens, once Canelo feels like he doesn't need you, you may never see a fight with him at all. So I feel like it's a big decision to be made by Caleb and his team. I think it's funny because I feel like it's an obvious answer. We get in the ring with Canelo, but then the other side of it is, what am I coming back from? You know what I mean? Or what have I not been through yet? So that's tough. is there a chance that we talk about like facing like somewhere between those two, like facing, Truax and Uzcategui, like, and then facing Canelo? Is there a chance that those guys in between wouldn't really prepare you for Canelo anyway? Like, if you can fight a B-level fighter, but then you fight an A+ level fighter like Canelo, it might not have helped you at all. Like, because I'm like, you can fight a B-level fighter and you're like, oh man, this is different. Like, I really had to adjust. But then you fight somebody that's a huge level above them anyway. Right. Did it really help you?
So I compare that to like when LeBron came out. LeBron was great, but you coming from the high school, college level. He was a college level type player coming out.
Yeah.
It took years for him to beat the San Antonio Spurs, to get past the Boston Celtics. And I feel like you need that experience, them levels. It's just hard to go straight to the top. Yeah. LeBron wasn't ready to take on the Lakers built with Shaq and Kobe at the moment. I feel like he's just going from paying the C-level fighters going straight to the top. Yeah. I feel like you just need one, just a champion. Even if, let's say, the fight's easier, if you get a couple of those championship rounds where you got a real dig deep, in the Jose fight, he had to dig deep in a little bit.
Yeah,
but just it, that experience, that in-ring experience. Yeah. I'll pay for him to experience something with Canelo, because that's not the time to try to experience something. You might get hurt. It's a learning level. Yeah. It was a learning lesson. Yeah. Canelo could really hurt you.
What would you do, Ant? Would you take the fight in September, or would you try to put it off and get another one of those fights?
Give a damn what Ant would do.
I'm just curious.
No.
I was wondering.
I would take the fight. You never know if you get this chance again.
Yeah,
like Sean said, he just keeps going. Yeah. And then you're Amir Khan waiting on Floyd. Yeah. So you got to take the fight.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to take the money.
Yeah.
You got to rise to the occasion, have his 8 Mile moment.
Yeah. To me, this is why he has to count. He has to believe in himself and just cultivate.
I didn't expect Canelo to be Papa Doc at any point in this episode.
I mean, Caleb's got, blue-eyed white guy from Middle America.
Yeah.
You got to have his underdog 8 Mile moment.
Caleb, very, very good taste in music. Shout out, big fan of Big Crit, Currency.
Hey, listen, we got Ben Thompson coming up.
Oh, I don't like this dude.
Yeah, are you dressed for work?
Sean Zittel. Yes, baby.
Hey, you about to get fired. What you doing working on another podcast? You about to get fired, right?
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, this here is Ben Thompson, founder and creator of Fight Hype, and has run the ship for a long time. And then, you got your guy next to you right there, Sean Zittel, who does a lot of work for you now, especially on the West Coast. And I see you got my boy traveling a little bit now, which is pretty cool. Let my boy get out there and do his thug thizzle. How you though?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's funny you say I'm letting him travel. I actually try and stop him from going to certain things, but there's no stopping Sean. He's going to everything he can go to. So I appreciate him for that.
Yeah, and he loves it too, which is just, that's why he does it. I
feel like Zittel would have been likely to pop up at one of those Kimbo Slice fights back in the day, asking all kinds of professional questions.
In the backyard when he was fighting on 305.
Yeah, man.
Like, so when you landed that uppercut on dude in the backyard, how'd you work on that?
When you landed that punch on Steve's uncle, what did you think about that?
Hey Ben, if you think you're gonna get to a billion streams, you need a guy like him. Because I see you guys got a billion views Are you guys like the only ones with that? Like, how we get there?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we're definitely the only ones with it.
Damn, you woke him up.
Oh yeah, he got hyped.
You gotta pop the collar every now and then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's we waiting on everybody to catch up, but eventually.
Damn, hold on, man, chill. We down there.
Yeah, I was like, is that also a shot at the podcast?
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Like, yeah, there's some garbage podcast with a professional fighter that doesn't have a billion.
Listen, you know what's funny? Hold on, let me check real quick. After the first, I think 7 years of posting videos on YouTube, I had 7,000 subscribers. That's it. That's it.
It was a slow grind.
Everybody starts at zero, and it just takes time. It just takes dedication. It just takes, hard work, all that good stuff. And the numbers start rolling in. I'm sure you guys are seeing the numbers rolling in. You guys are being consistent with the show. Yeah. He's shaking his head. Nah, are you lying? You're lying. I've seen the numbers. I know they're rolling in. So
they're already at over 30K. They're in like 30K in 7 months. It took 7K for 7 years. So they took
7 years. Yeah,
I think it's pretty much for me and Ant, but
shout out to Carson.
And Carson. You know what I mean? And the timing,
Yeah.
So
and you. But.
Yeah. Well, our flow is a little different, But listen, Ben, you was down there. You were down there in Miami, and we saw that you were in the midst of everything popping off with the Logan brother. And the Paul brother and Mayweather, and I just really wanted to bring you on and kind of get your take on that, and and how you feel things are going to be moving forward as that fight creeps up on us.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually came on because I wanted to get you guys' take on what went down. I was in the thick of it. So
I see you put the paws on somebody too.
Allegedly.
I seen that light-skinned hand.
Nah, it was somebody's light-skinned hand. It wasn't me though. I was holding too many cameras running around. I didn't have a free hand to put on anybody. But it was crazy. It was definitely not fake. It was not staged. I can honestly say that's the most pissed I've ever seen Floyd Mayweather. I've never seen him that pissed before.
I thought that was over the top.
Well, listen.
Even though it wasn't fake, I thought that he started to, he took it a little further than it needed to go.
Well, listen, I mean, that's when incidents happen like that, that's what's going to happen. Things are going to escalate. It's hard to control once you open Pandora's box.
Kind of like we said about Billy Joe Saunders. He said, I would never quit on the stool. I would never take a knee, yada, yada, yada. And it's before you've been put in that situation, So once you're in the situation, you're going to handle it however your mind and your body reacts. And if anything, we could say that Floyd was just going off of what his mind and his body was telling him. This dude disrespected me. I got to get him.
And did it seem like he was agitated at all before that, or was it literally just the hat snatch that completely just flipped the switch?
It's hard to say if someone's agitated about anything. I mean, I know prior to that even taking place, they did a face-off on stage, and there were some things said. There were some personal things said that no matter who you are, you're going to act like, oh, okay, whatever. That didn't mean anything to me. But they were personal things that were said. So I'm sure any human is going to process that a certain way and is going to feel a certain type of way for it. So even though it was the hat snatch that ultimately exploded it, I think there were a series of things that just kind of led up to it. But I wouldn't necessarily say, he was boiling, he was like ready to explode at that point. I think it was just something where it was like, all right, you said some things earlier, but this was the last straw. And then, he just took it there.
Yeah, and Team Mayweather is not the easiest team to disrespect.
Oh,
they travel kind of heavy. So it's not the easiest team.
The fact that the brother untied his shoe and then took his hat was like a throwback to every bully in like 4th grade. Like those were like the most like simple tricks in the book. Like he had like a wedgie, I think would have been the next move.
I couldn't figure out whether or not that was like Cleveland just coming out of him, or if that was just is what it is.
Don't attribute that to Cleveland.
Yeah, I was like,
well, y'all know what I said. I said that's some white shit from Ohio. White
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
You take credit for that.
I would have put the paws on them too because you disrespecting me at that point. You're making me look like a clown.
Country boy stuff.
Yeah.
Is that where they're from though? Are they from Cleveland?
They live right next to Shawn and Carson.
It's suburb of Cleveland, a very wealthy suburb of Cleveland.
Oh, really? It's really. Oh, wow! I didn't know that.
Come on, Ben.
Where they at?
Not everybody that live, not every country boy that lives in Ohio comes.
That's true.
Westlake, SP.
Oh, they in Westlake. Okay.
Yeah, wealthy suburb of Cleveland, but it was some foolishness, that's for sure.
So Ben, say again.
Do they come from money?
I don't know.
I don't know per se. This is what I've been told. I've been told that they come from a family that is kind of really tight knit. Everybody looks out for everybody. And when it comes to this boxing game, which I want to ask you about too, these guys take it very serious. I've been told that even though they are YouTubers and things like that, and they're trying to get in the ring and box, I've been told that they do training camps. I've been told that they have hired dietitians and strength and conditioning, and they kind of go through all of the motions that I go through, that a lot of professional boxers go through before a professional fight. That includes a quote unquote training camp, So I kind of, if anything, I want to know from you, how do you feel about, this YouTube thing happening with boxing? It seems to be somewhat of a sensation now where people want to see you because, the followers are going to follow you wherever you go. And now they've followed some people into the boxing ring. And I kind of want to know how you feel about that.
I love it. I mean, I have no problem whatsoever with it. I mean, the way I look at it is,
hey, do you want to renege that love? Because you got to be careful.
Nah.
You talking to the boxing world. All right. And if you don't, then it is what it is. I'm going to say I don't hate it.
Yeah, no. I don't mind. I love it.
Love it. Yeah. But now tell these people why you love it.
Well, I love it because they bring views, and views equals money for me. So at the end of the day, I'm running a business. I'm running a business. You know what I mean? So I got no problem with that. And I think that's the reason why they're in boxing. Boxing's about money. Yeah. Boxing's about money. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every industry, every sport is about money. Yeah. But it's really, really about money in boxing. Where
the difference with boxing and other sports is like you can get a license. You can throw on some gloves and do it. Like the other sports, you can't just do it. You know what I mean? Now,
there's no regulation.
Let's keep it real. Like these guys, the Logan brothers, I feel like if they go to a basketball court and they bring some and they tell people they're gonna be there playing ball, they're gonna be able to sell tickets. I kind of feel like they sell tickets wherever they go. And now you've come to the sport of boxing, and I just feel that the sport of boxing is taking it really personal, and I don't think that that's the right way to approach this.
Well, I think the sport of boxing or fans of like they really need to kind of look at the sport. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like to be real about it. Yeah. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, those guys should not be allowed to get a professional boxing license. Yep. However, because people who are in control of these certain aspects and elements of the sport recognize they can make money with these guys, they're going to let it happen. They're going to move mountains. They're going to put these things together because it's business. So, for that reason, I don't hate the Paul brothers. I think it's great. Bring that money, bring that paper.
Yeah.
And they have to back it up. They're the ones that have to do the fighting. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we've said before, I'm really kind of either way. They're better than me. I would never get in a boxing ring, so more power to them, but kind of is what it is.
Nah, see, you're on the fence. I'm 100% in. I love it. It's great. Let's have more of it.
Yeah. All right, now you're taking it too far. Yeah, you're taking it too far.
I'm good on it.
But hold on, Sean. We can't think short term. We got to think long term. At some point,
But here's the thing. We think long-term because one of the brothers already came out talking about they got brain injuries and things like that. So we go further than this and now we're talking about lives being in danger. And now we're talking about our sport being in danger. You know what I mean? So
But that happens every day. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a YouTuber or whether it's a world champion fighter. I mean, that danger exists every single day.
What the clowns that's getting in the ring too. So
well, but listen, they're getting in the ring, but it's not like they don't know what they're putting themselves into. You know, these guys are getting paid millions and millions and millions.
Hold up though, but these two guys. And then you rewind back to Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is different from these two guys. I told y'all, like, these guys take it serious once it's game time. Like, Nate didn't understand what he was getting himself into. So that's why I say, like, we got to be careful of still how we expose or who we expose this sport to.
But maybe Nate didn't know what he was getting. Like, I don't know that. I've never had a conversation with Nate. I've never, you know, I don't know what he was doing to train for this, but whatever training he was doing, he might have actually thought, yo, I'm good. I got this. I mean, we about to see Ocho Cinco.
Yeah.
On the, you know, undercard of Floyd's fight. He gonna do his, and I know he's training, and when you see the video of him, it's like, okay, you know, he got some skills. But who are you putting those skills against? What kind of danger are you putting yourselves in? I mean, I think that's that's what's really important, and that's what they need to monitor. And right now, I think like Jake Paul, like the people they're putting him in with, I mean, you know, the Nate Robinson fight. I mean, come on. I mean, Jake Paul, that was his second fight. I mean, there's a lot of pro fighters, you know, who went the traditional route, the amateur route, you know, had several fights, turned pro, and they're fighting, you know, guys that drive cabs and stuff like that. So,
Ben, after Floyd beat the bricks off of Logan, is he gonna beat the bricks off of Jake?
I hope so. Let's bring it. That's why I said let's. I don't have a problem with any of it. And when I mentioned, you know, we don't want to think short term. We got to think long term. What I was going with is, Sean, listen, man. Yeah. One day.
Here you go.
You 40 years old.
Hey, Bennett,
a couple years.
Hey, Bennett, money talks. Money talks.
Money talks, and you never know when someone's gonna come knocking on the door.
I was in LA sitting next to Mikey Garcia, and they come over with the cameras. Would you do it? Me and Mikey looked at each other. We was like, no, we wouldn't do it. I'll do an interview later. Well, would you do it for a couple of mil? More than you made against Errol Spence Jr.? I said, nah, man, that's just not really not my
Shit.
The next day, they come at me. They said, what about 10 mil? I was like, y'all making this real hard for me. You know what I mean? I seen Mikey a little bit later, right? I said, Mikey, are they still asking you if you will fight a YouTuber? He said, yeah, they are. I said, is the money going up? He said, yeah, it is. I said, are you changing your mind? He said, yeah, I kind of am. You know what I mean? So the money going up, and even for me, somebody who don't care to do that at all, definitely once I retire, I look at it, I'm kind of like, oh, you know, maybe an exhibition type of situation. I don't know. We'll see. But we do have to kind of, before we get off, like, let's talk worst case scenario for you, Ben, because you're a big boxing fan or humongous boxing fan. You love the sport. I know Floyd, Floyd's your guy and things like that.
That's my guy.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, if it were to happen that Floyd were to get hurt or lose the fight or anything like that at all, like, then do you back out of this situation with world championship caliber fighters getting in the ring with people that don't belong in the ring with them?
Hey, listen, you know what you signing up for. Yeah. It's your career, it's your legacy, it's your life. You wanted to do it. I can't tell another man what he can and can't do. If that's what you wanted to do, then that's what it is. And whatever happens, that's what happens. Now, having said that, okay, how can I say that? Am I concerned that, you know, Logan Paul could catch Floyd and knock him out or something? No, I'm actually not concerned with that at all. I don't think that's remotely possibly happening. However, the idea of him catching him and knocking him out and that being the guy, the guy that finally the guy that knocked out Floyd Mayweather was a YouTuber.
That'd be terrible, Ben. That'd be terrible, bro.
Hey, Ben. As black people, we've been through too much, Floyd. You better not let that shit happen. Been through too much. I don't come out there preaching like Martin Luther King. We've been through too much.
You know what I'm saying? We don't want to see that happen. Even if it did happen, Logan might just have to. If it was an accident, Logan might have to lay down on the canvas and say, "My bad, y'all. It was an accident," and help Floyd back up.
Right.
But I don't. But listen, I do think. Anytime two people get in the ring and start swinging hands at each other, there's a danger. There's a danger, especially when you're in there with someone who really isn't as skilled, and you're expecting one thing, and then you get this wild other thing. So anything can happen when two guys get into a ring. Do I think anything's gonna? I think what I do think is gonna happen is that we're gonna see a Money Mayweather event and a pretty boy butt whooping. So for me,
breakdown.
For me, I'm like, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming on with us, man. You might as well ride out with us. I think Carson, you got one more thing you want to touch upon, right?
We talked about the slate of Showtime fights coming up, and the first one coming up next week. Luis Nery and Brandon Figueroa. How we thinking that goes down?
Nery's the better fighter, but Figueroa has such a size advantage in that fight, and he's so active and throws so many punches. And Nery's had problems with dedication and making weight and things like that. So, interesting. Figueroa got size, and you kind of size, but Nery's better. But he's coming up in weight. I won't give you guys the official Zittel pick, but it's a good fight.
Yeah, and you already know what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm going Nery too. Honestly.
Yeah, I think Nery he beats the dog shit out of him.
And Nery's gonna wash him up.
Yeah, I think Figueroa is, ever since he was kind of propped up as maybe this next coming guy, I was like, all right, let me see, and I just never saw like what they saw to hype him up.
Carson never been a fan of the eyes.
No, the eyes, yeah, he gets you with the blue steel, and I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, he was like kind of propped up as this guy that like might do something, and I was just like, yeah, I never saw it.
The blue steel. Oh, that's funny.
Equalizers, though.
What'd you say, Ben?
It's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be fun. Fireworks.
I think Nery will knock him out.
I do as well. I think Nery stops him.
Yeah, Nery stops him
early.
The winner's gonna lose the Fulton. That's what
yeah.
That I'll say.
Damn, forgot about that.
I would agree. That's kind of like what we mentioned with Jamel Herring when he beats Frampton. Is it like you win and it's like, oh shit, I have to fight Shakur Stevenson next? Like win this fight on Saturday, either Figueroa or Nery, and you're like, oh, like a cool boy Steph just cracking his knuckles, wait until the summer or the September.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, how you see the Canelo Plant fight going?
That's a tough fight. That's a tough fight for both of them, actually. Canelo's gonna have to be in good condition. I still think he has that old Oscar De La Hoya conditioning problem. Now, I don't want to call it a problem, but they like to reserve their stamina in the middle rounds. So I think because of that, Caleb Plant can have some success and steal some rounds in there and keep it a close fight. So it's probably going to come down to the scorecards. If Caleb doesn't bank at least 8 rounds, then Canelo's going to win regardless. So Caleb's going to have to make it look like a beating. Bro, even Floyd had a scorecard that someone scored it a draw when he fought Canelo. Like, come on, man. Like, really? So
what?
Yeah, that's scorecard.
I did not know that.
It was a majority decision.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's
Ben, who can challenge Canelo?
I think Caleb's going to be a challenge. I think that is going to be a challenge. The main reason why I could be wrong about this, but the way that I look at Canelo is I think Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, they're game planners, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone game plans, but they come to a fight with a game plan in mind and they stick to that game plan throughout. I think we saw it with the Saunders fight. You know, he came in knowing, he told you, I'm going to knock him out. Like, when have you ever heard Canelo just say, I'm going to knock someone out? So they knew, look, this guy dips down. He's going to be right there for the uppercut. Eventually, you're going to land it. You're going to get him out of there. And that's what happened. And every fight I've seen of Canelo, it's been a game plan. So I think someone who can come with multiple game plans, A, B, C, even though I know it's cliche to say that. I mean, Sean, I'm sure you know more than all of us. That's what fighters say. You know, you got to have more than one game plan, but not all fighters do that. Yeah. And I think that's what gives Canelo problems is when you come in doing something and then you switch it up. And I think Caleb can do that. So I do think that fight's going to be tough. I think Boo Boo would be a tough fight for him. I think even Jamal would be a tough fight for him, but
that's what I like.
But Jamal, you know, but the thing about Jamal too, though, is sometimes he you tag him and he want to get that get back. And I think that could be a mistake with Canelo. So, you know, I think those are all tough fights for him. I just hope we see them. I hope we see all of them. You know, it's not easy to make these fights across the different streets and with the different platforms and stuff. I'm not sold that Caleb's going to be next, but we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Hey, shout out to Canelo. He on a hell of a run. He's fighting everybody. Unlike a lot of fighters,
he's fought all of Europe.
He's for all of Europe.
All right.
So that was actually, and we don't need to elaborate much on this, but that was actually a fan question from a few weeks back. They want to know if we think Canelo is ducking any fighter. I don't think so at all. Like, looking at his resume,
I don't think so at all. You know, certainly he's on his way to doing something great at super middleweight no one's ever done. But like we talked about a few weeks ago, Undisputed, I believe, didn't come out of his mouth until Benavidez was stripped of the WBC title. So you can't call it a duck, but I mean, it's David's fault. He was stripped, but you know, that's something in mind that he did say Undisputed once the toughest super middleweight in the division was no longer a champion. And he's not ducking, but I feel, speaking on behalf of most boxing fans, that they would rather see Charlo or Benavidez than Plant or Callum Smith or Saunders, you know, despite them being the world champions. So, like Ben, you remember Carlos Baldomir was the lineal welterweight champion of the world after he beat Zab Judah, but you had a lot of hardcore fans saying they wanted to see the Margarito fight. But you couldn't say shit to Floyd about it because he was fighting the champion of the division. And so it's the same thing with Canelo right now. And Margarito wound up getting knocked off by Paul Williams anyways and all that. But yeah, and these guys, the Benavidez, the Charlos, the Boo Boos, they got to do what Margarito did, even though he lost to Paul Williams. He fought a Paul Williams. You know, he wasn't just buying time, keep winning fights, keep making momentum. He went out there and fought another name. And that might be what Charlo and Boo Boo have to do together. I know Benavidez has been wanting to do that. So he's not ducking the best names, but I do feel most boxing fans would rather see him fight Charlo or Benavidez or Boo Boo.
Let me kick you guys a hypothetical. So Canelo beats Caleb in September. What about Charlo versus Boo Boo squaring off and the winner gets Canelo next?
Take that.
I love it.
It works like that.
It doesn't work like that.
We know, but
I mean, none of those
hypothetical.
In a perfect hypothetical, because that like the Charlo Boo Boo fight we've mentioned before, we'd like to see that. Yeah. Then you get Canelo unifying the division and then fighting another great fighter after that. But
I'd actually like to see Boo Boo and Golovkin fight, and the winner of that get Canelo, only because they're all with DAZN, and that seems pretty logical to do and easier to do. But for whatever reason, we've yet to see that happen. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't think Canelo's ducking anyone. I just think he got a lot of people to fight. So
that's true.
Get in line.
Everybody want that payday, like when Floyd back in the day.
Yeah, I was just about to say, where everyone's calling out Floyd.
Yeah, everybody wanted Floyd.
I wonder why you're calling Floyd out.
Yeah. Hey, Sean called out Floyd.
They want payday.
That's what Canelo told Boo Boo last night.
Yeah, that was bad.
Did y'all see that?
Dang, Boo Boo look crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that was all. We all have mentioned how much we love Boo Boo, but yeah, you can't go and like disrespect somebody after they won in a press conference, and then like first off, he just dismissed you. Like, you fought nobody. Get the F out of here. Yeah, and then you can't get like defensive. Like, hey, you don't talk to my dad like that. Oh,
you're
interrupting my press conference. Yeah,
that was good. Though. That was good for Canelo. I think it was good for people to see that side of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we know.
I loved it. It's just one part I didn't like is when he said, "You will never get the fight." I just didn't like that. I'm not feeling that. Everything else he said was hilarious. It was great. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't fought nobody. Everything, but I don't like that. I'm the guy. Yeah, like what about competitive?
But he is.
He is. But Ben, like you always
pretend like you're not.
It's also sport. It's also sport. And you don't know if this. Don't say never. This man can move up and wait and win a title. And I'm just not feeling the. You'll never get a fight. Like
I think he was trying to hurt his pride, Sean. He was trying to stab him in the heart. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think he meant that literally. I think he was just trying to stab him in the heart. Like you in here interrupting me. You ain't gonna never get none of this. So you know. Yeah, I think he was interrupting it. You know
when you argue with your lady and she hits you with some low shit, like, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, let chill out.
But Sean, let me ask you though, real quick. Don't you think there's a little truth to that though? Because every time you fight with someone, right, you're kind of entering into like a business contract with them. Like you guys are going to go make money together.
Yeah.
So if someone came and like disrespected you and well, I can hurt you by not letting you make money with me. Like, do you think that feeling like
didn't Charlo say that to Boo Boo? Like, I'm not going to let you get a payday off of me.
I think so, yeah. I think he did.
But that's that new school, man. I feel like in the old school, they'd say, I'm going to punish your ass in that ring.
But Sean, I think it happened in the old school too. I think Sugar Ray Leonard did it a few times to some people. I remember him and Aaron Pryor had words about that. I mean, I think it's happened. I'm sure Oscar's done it a few times.
Clubber Lang convinced Rocky to fight.
I mean, you can probably go further back to the Jack Johnson days. I mean, I'm sure back then it was no, we're not gonna let this black guy or that. Like anytime someone is in a command position, I feel like if you get disrespected like that, they really mean that. Like they really mean like you're never gonna get a fight with me. I think Canelo meant that. I don't think we'll ever see them fight ever.
Mic drop. Fire up the music.
I don't even think there'll be a demand for it. So if there's no demand, then
crushing my dreams, man. That's my boy.
That's our guy. I feel bad.
But I hate to. I'm just talking in reality, right? Like I'm not saying he can't demand for it. I'm just saying, honestly, there's no demand for anybody that Canelo is fighting right now. To be honest, I mean, nobody was demanding Billy Joe. Nobody was demanding Yildirim, Rocky Fielding. Nobody was demanding Kovalev. Like, he's just picking. Like,
hey, Ben, I know this your guy, but he on that Floyd run. Well, he fight whoever the hell he wants to.
But see, that's not true because listen. Floyd fought who the people demanded. Listen,
I don't want to see Robert Garcia.
Well, okay,
Guerrero.
Robert Guerrero. Okay, come on, listen. There were some.
That's what I'm saying.
But every fighter has that. Sean, I'm sure you've got some fights where people didn't really want to see
me in this. Don't bring me in this.
I'm just saying that's how the sport works, right? But what I'm saying is that when Sean is like, nope.
Hey, Ben.
I fight a killer every fight if it was up to me.
Ben, if I could fight a Robert Guerrero and make the same amount of money I'm gonna make with a tougher fight, I don't give a damn. That's how I look at it.
I don't even think that. I don't think that's the way his career progressed though. Like anytime there was a fight that somebody doubted, whether it was the Zab Judah fight, the Diego Corrales fight, he like every fight, the Canelo fight when he fought Canelo.
Shit. Floyd, my favorite fighter. I didn't think Canelo had a chance.
But they were saying when that fight happened, they were saying Floyd will never fight Canelo. He's scared of this young, hungry lion. Like that's what they said. So what did he say? Yeah. Give me that guy. And then when they gave him to him, now he's too young. So I think there's a little difference between. I don't want to say Canelo is. Canelo's not doing anything wrong either. It's just you fight what's presented to you and what's available to you. And hopefully there's some big fights available to you that you can, sprinkle in here and there and make some good money. What I'm saying is that for Canelo, it's hard pressed for me to really find that big fight for him. Even if you talk about Jamal Charlo, even if you talk about Caleb Plant,
right.
if you talk about David Benavidez,
right.
I don't know if those are big fights that people are like, we must see this.
There's not a Pacquiao fight out there.
There's not a
Him and Jamal at Cowboy Stadium. That's hot, man. That's bigger than him and Jamal at Cowboy Stadium. Jamal.
But that's not Manny Floyd being saying.
No.
Right. No, Canelo,
big.
Anyone in Dallas is big. Like, Canelo's big.
I think Carlo would bring a little extra sizzle, man. Being from Texas, having a big mouth. You know, I love that fight, man.
I mean, do you feel like there's sizzles on any of his fights now? Like is there?
That's what I'm saying. I think Carlo has more sizzle than Callum Smith or Billy Joe.
I'm talking about Charlo fights. I'm talking about Charlo fights. Do you feel like there's sizzle in Charlo fights right now? Jamal Charlo, like when he fought Derevianchenko. Huh?
Well, I mean, no one was there. You know, it's hard to have sizzle in an empty arena. But no, I hear you. But they had momentum.
You got to have sizzle before you get to the arena. That's what makes a fight hot.
There'll be a Fight Hype podcast coming out.
Man, when we talk boxing, we start talking business, man. You can be all day.
Hey, I love Ben, boy. He came in with the smoke.
He might come back.
Nah, we gotta have him back. He come with the smoke.
I just like talking the business of boxing. That's kind of like what, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the fighting part of it too, of course. But the business of boxing, I think, is almost even like, honestly, that's where the fight begins before they even get into the ring, is the business of it. And Sean, you can probably speak to that. I mean, dealing with, Terrence Crawford fight, this fight, that fight. I mean, you know what it's like trying to get these fights done.
Listen, man, when the time's right, we'll bring you back and we just talk about the business of boxing. How about that?
Anytime you want, brother.
Deal, man. Hey, good to see you today, boss.
All right, fellas.
Keep that thermostat down.
I'm getting a new one.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.